Hopefully we can see a bit more from the opening hands.
Oh, he has to
Yeah.
get invited in the top row there.
Well, Massan, the thing with Massan is that he was kind of playing like a more standard warrior. It didn't have like Sneed's old Shredder. It didn't have Kel'Thuzad. So what that tells me is that because he's been out of the tournament scene for such a long time, maybe he's like, he's not in tune with the metagame, perhaps.
Yeah, it seemed like a much older type of control warrior in a way. Well, I say much older, not that much older, but it's definitely not post GVG-ish in a way. Like it's been changed quite a bit since.
Yeah, that's like telling your twin, "Hey, I'm much older than you. I was born like 2 minutes before you."
2 minutes before you.
All right, Acolyte goes down. It can contest the 2-2, but unfortunately for Massan, a True Silver is available to just kill that right off.
Yep.
And we do
see,
indeed
a little bit of value, but
we do indeed see the Knife Juggler coming into Powder's hand, so it is a faster Paladin deck.
yeah, it could be a little bit of a hybrid between faster and slower. He might not be running Zombie Chows, for instance, but definitely the Muster for Battle. I mean, it feels to me as though the Muster for Battle Quartermaster threat is a little bit like it's a little akin to the Druid, Force of Nature combo. You have to play around it, even though they might not have it, and just the fact that they might play it forces you to play differently around it.
We see a key card in Powder's hand right now, Harrison Jones, which he actually kept off the mulligan. Now, there's a bit of a debate as to how you're supposed to use Harrison Jones against Paladin. Do you wait for the Muster for Battle to get 3 draws? Can you use it on just a 4-1 Paladin True Silver champion? Or do you even perhaps try to get the full Ashbringer value?
Yeah, I don't know exactly. It depends on how the games pan out. As long as he has options, I think there's no need to hurry. Right? Like, he can just wait it out a little bit. But it really depends on what he draws and if he can contest the board for long enough. Because, oh wow, he does run Zombie Chows. Okay. So it is exactly the list that you didn't mention. Or at least something very similar to it.
Okay, Massan's gonna go for the Death Spy play. I would have considered the Shield Maiden or the Sylvanas a bit more, perhaps.
Yeah. Instead of developing the weapon right now, maybe put down more board instead.
But you know what? The Shield Maiden just dies to the True Silver and
the 1/1, yes.
So it's fair enough. Okay, Harrison Jones comes down. The weapon does belong in a museum.
Zombie Chow going to give full health value here back to Massan. Well, nearly full. 4 out of 5. Like, a lot of the time, it just ends up not doing anything because you're full of armor and you just get overhealed. But in this specific case, it's actually going to be useful when it does die. It's a minor fact, but...
Yeah, because you've seen the Zombie Chow, right? So you can kind of assume it's a bit of a faster Paladin. Because you've seen the Zombie Chow, I feel like you can feel a bit better about using Execute on this Harrison Jones, but no, he decided to just go for Dr. Boom. Surprisingly, Dr. Boom isn't amazing in this scenario.
It's one of the scenarios where I feel it's a little less impressive than it might have been otherwise.
Yeah. There were perhaps other plays available. Surprise, surprise.
Is this the first time a turn 7 has been hit and Dr. Boom is not optimal?
Yeah. It's not the best case scenario, I'd say.
Yeah.
Oh, and I think Powder is actually going to use his face to... No, he's...
What, do you just
gonna
consecrate this? Or... Yeah.
If you consecrate, then you definitely attack face first. Yeah, there we go.
Consecration lets him play his hero power afterwards. Right, Zombie Chow dies, he takes 3. But he still has the initiative, right? He can kill anything with 5 health. Sludge Belcher, Sylvanas, Shield Maiden, anything that falls down from the warrior side that has 5 health is just going to blow up. So there are nice plays here for Massan. He's playing very quickly.
Now, Powder, we see in his hand, there's a Wild Pyromancer and there's 2 Senjins. Those are all more of the defensive cards and not really something you want to use against Warrior. Instead of Senjins, you definitely want the Piloted Shredders against Warrior just because it's more offensive. It has more attacking power and it's more sticky on the field to just keep hitting Warrior. Meanwhile, the Wild Pyromancer, it helps clear the field, but I guess you can use it as an equality activator. but it doesn't feel like there's full value gain from running Wild Pyromancer. So everything just overall, this Paladin feels more of like an anti-aggro deck, and
Yeah,
not
most definitely.
and not like an anti-warrior deck that Life Coach's Paladin was.
Life Coach's Paladin had a pretty lopsided matchup, I believe, against a deck like just about any control warrior. And in this specific case, the deck is most definitely tailored around something like a Hunter, for instance. If Massan had been running Hunter, maybe Powder would have been prepared with this one.
Yeah, Powder. If he wins this match and he goes on to the next match, it might be a scenario where banning Hunter might not be the best decision.
Yeah, well, he didn't. I mean, Massan does not run Hunter, so that's fine for him. It's just Massan has banned Hunter because he knows that he's not prepared for it, or at least didn't want to bother preparing for it.
You are not prepared. That's what Illidan says.
Yeah, I remember that from the Warcraft 3. Was it?
It's either the Warcraft 3 or the
The
Hearthstone.
Illidan Black Hunt. I remember the black. There was the Black Temple back the raid. He definitely said that during the raid. But all right. So if Tyrion comes out here,
That's a good one.
yeah. But Brawl.
Is Brawl what you want? I think.
I don't think it is. I almost
Sylvanas
prefer
might be
Sylvanas
better.
here. Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. You don't have a
Sylvanas can too.
silence. So yeah, you don't have a silence, so you force your opponent to either have a silence or maybe muster for battle. Paladin's like a class that is actually not as weak to Sylvanas as other classes, just because they can muster for battle and they can force your opponent to maybe steal a 1/1.
Yeah, definitely. It's just I mean, it's basically like playing Sylvanas against Zeus sometimes.
Did you just see that?
What happened?
It just said that Powder has gone offline.
Oh, come on now. Is
So-
Massan just?
I mean, the thing is, this play is obvious. You just attack face, and he's not doing that right now. So we might be running into more internet issues coming from Powder.
That is 2 people so far that have had internet issues in this entire tournament.
Mhm.
That's
I mean-
quite unfortunate.
Yeah, and the thing is, like with this particular game, like there's no way for you to tell who's winning right now. I mean, I would just give it 50. Like I could give someone an advantage, but just the slightest advantage. This game is really it's anyone's game right now.
Yeah, I feel like Warrior has a slight edge, but things could happen that would make the entire outcome much different. And apparently, yeah, it said officially on Massan's side that the opponent left, which means either there was a disconnect or there was an Alt F4. I doubt the Alt F4, but yeah, that's quite a problem. All right, well, as a side note, I guess in the meantime, we have raised another $100-ish since I last made the comment about having to break the 2K. So thanks for that, guys. Really appreciate it. Every bit helps. You don't have to donate huge amounts for the cause, Child's Play Foundation. Now, I mean, if we don't get any news from Powder, will this just be another... I mean, like Neria's scenario yesterday was a little less heart-wrenching, I guess, because his status on the board was indicative of him losing soon. Whereas in this case, it's much less one-sided.
Yeah, I guess Massan still has to win the game. Okay, I guess not. His opponent just leaves.
What happened?
Okay. So yeah, you've raised like $900 so far. That's you originally were putting a goal of $1,000. Come on, Noxious.
Well, within the next the immediate future. Of course, if we'd hit it, I would have raised the bar. It's just a matter of raising the bar every time. Yeah, it's just I wish we could finish the series completely. I mean, what's left for Powder in this matchup, in this lineup anyway? He's got.
Let's check it out.
I think he's got his own warrior, and that's about it.
Yeah, Powder actually has his own warrior. That's pretty interesting since we haven't seen a warrior mirror in forever.
We saw one in this tournament, I think. Did we?
No, definitely not. There were no warrior mirrors.
You're right. There's none in this tournament. That's right. I just tend to look at too many tournaments recently. Yes. Okay. So mirror match warrior. I feel like if Powder's warrior is GVG adapted with shredders and sky golems, it's going to have a little bit of an edge over that of Massan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it would just because of the BGH targets essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If one player has BGH targets and the other doesn't, and they're both running BGH, then that's just kind of one dead card in your deck.
Yeah, and mirror match warriors come down to the card sometimes. So
yeah, it's a lot about matching up your answers to your opponent's threats.
Yeah, and when you and pilot sky golems, I mean, we've already insisted upon this, but the sky golems and the shredders just the problem for them with warriors is that they have to use multiple cards to deal with a single one of your cards, and they generally, capitalize on the fact that the removal is fairly efficient, or that they can consistently remove your stuff. But if they can't, then that's when you start snowballing a little bit of damage here, a little bit of damage there, and it adds up to just them not being able to keep up.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll actually get to see this match.
Yep. Waiting on words for the admins here, see what's gonna happen.
All right. So, Noxious, what has been your favorite game so far of the tournament?
Life coach,
Yeah.
Nosdormu. I mean,
All right.
I don't have to look very, very far because it's one of those circumstances that I've been hoping for the longest time. Seeing somebody like Trump or Life Coach just get Nosdormu'd. And this is the first time it's happened, and it's been tricky enough to deal with that we got to see it going on for a few minutes,
Yeah,
well,
I
a
mean,
few minutes. I mean, 2 turns, 3 turns, 45 seconds, whatever. It was really short, but it felt like forever.
I don't know why I asked you first because you obviously took mine, right? So I will say one of the random Hunter games where Hunter just swept the opponent. Those are my favorite games.
Yeah, okay, I can see that because it's very diverse in the way that it plays out.
Yeah, I mean, like they have to go for face sometimes, and other times they also go for face. So definitely a very diverse deck to play.
Yeah, but what you're not talking about is there's always in the back of their minds the possibility that they could not go for face. So that makes the whole thing a lot more complex to play with.
I mean, that's just I feel in that scenario, it's just kind of doubting yourself, doubting who you are as a Hunter player.
Okay, I can see what you mean.
The doubt is there. Again, we are waiting for Powder to reconnect and give us more additional word on what's happening.
Yeah, it seems like his disconnections have they're recurrent, but I don't know if he's experienced lag prior to that during the games, or if it's just really just instant disconnect and whatnot.
So Massan oh man, Powder is now on Team iHeartU. So congratulations to Powder for switching teams within the duration of the tournament.
Well done. That was a really ninja change. I didn't even notice it.
Yeah.
Well
like,
done, admins. You sneaked.
Complexity is like, oh, we don't want this guy that disconnects all the time. Like, we'll just give him to iHeartU.
So after this match, in theory, if Powder cannot resume, who are the next contenders to actually fight it off?
The next opponents are Strife Crow versus Tice, and again, I think that's one of the feature matches of this tournament. Strife Crow versus Tice, I feel like they're some of the biggest names recently, and they've both done really well. I think the lineup is like Strife Crow, Tice, Kolento, Savitz, Firebat. Those are kind of like the favorites going to this tournament, I feel.
Yeah, and the round of 8 is going to be very exciting because a lot of the stronger players, I mean, the initial roster of players was really just amazing. And the round of 8 that's going to resume, we already know that Amaz, Garo, and Firebat moved on. We're waiting on Nyria versus Ecop to move on. To see which one of them is going to win. Ecop was already up 2-0. There were disconnect issues yesterday for Neria. So we're going to be playing that match in the round of 16 after the match from Strifecore and Thice. And we're waiting on a word from Powder to see if he's going to be playing his third game or if we're going to have to postpone it maybe after the Strifecore match.
All right. And don't forget, later afterwards, after the round of 16, we're actually going to show the round of 8 all today. So we're going to be casting 9 matches throughout the entire day. We've finished 3 of them, so that means we have 6 more to go.
Yeah, and this is a best of 5 format. Round of 16, round of 8 is going to be best of 5 format. But as soon as we hit the semifinals, third place, and finals, it's all going to be best of 7s, and that is going to be even longer matches, which is going to be kind of more interesting. There's also going to be the mechanic of revival, as you might have already seen maybe elsewhere, where if your deck is eliminated, instead of just not being able to go back to it, you can revive it. So if you lose with Paladin first match against an unfavored matchup, you can bring it back when you face that control warrior. So it's a really nice way for players to counter pick a little bit more liberally, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, they can pick Hunter twice, right?
It's gonna get banned. Nobody past this point is not gonna ban Hunter, but they just might. It's just that so far every time somebody in this tournament has not banned Hunter, they were